Right now, if you strain to hear something, a muscle on the side of your head pulls. It is trying to point your ear at the sound. Nothing on your head moves at all. You have never once felt it. This is not a curiosity from an old textbook. It was measured this year on ordinary people. 20 of them wired to electrodes, listening to a podcast that got harder and harder to follow. Before we get to what the electrodes found, there is something on your own ear you can check. And there is something almost everyone believes about human ears that turns out to be wrong. By the end, you will know why the wiring outlived the machine it was wired to. Start with your finger. Find your earlobe and run it slowly up the outer rim. About 2/3 of the way up, on the back edge, feel for a small, hard bump. It is tiny. Easy to miss entirely. Check both ears because it often sits on only one. Plenty of people do not have it at all. In Spain, roughly 1 adult in 10 does. In India, closer to 4 in 10. Among Swedish schoolchildren, more than half were found to have it. Charles Darwin put it on the opening pages of The Descent of Man in 1871. He had not spotted it himself. A sculptor named Thomas Woolner noticed it while modeling an ear in clay. Woolner wrote to Darwin about it, and Darwin saw at once what it meant. Fold the pointed ear of a monkey forward and downward, and the point lands exactly there. It is the tip of an ear you do not have. Which sets up the thing everyone gets wrong about the human ear. You will hear it called a dead antenna, a flap of skin that does nothing. That is simply false, and you can prove it to yourself in about 4 seconds. Close your eyes and have someone drop a coin, once above your head and once near the floor. You will know which was which. Even with one ear covered, you will still know. Because the folds and ridges you just traced with your finger are not decoration. They are a filter. Sound arriving from above strikes those folds at a different angle than sound arriving from below. Each direction cancels some frequencies and reinforces others, leaving a signature your brain has learned to read. So the ear itself is not the broken part. The ear works. What broke was the ability to aim it. You kept the lens and lost the tripod. Except the cable to the tripod was never cut. In January 2025, a team published exactly what happens on the other end of that cable. 20 volunteers, electrodes taped over the muscles above and behind each ear. Then a podcast, with other voices deliberately layered over the one they were told to follow. 3 settings. Easy, harder, and hard enough that following the words took real work. Nobody was asked to move anything. Nobody could have moved anything if they tried. The muscle above the ear fired hardest in the hardest condition. The worse the listening, the harder the body tried to turn an ear that does not turn. Sit with that for a second. Your nervous system still runs the routine for aiming an ear in full, on demand. It has simply been sending that command into empty air for millions of years. A follow-up study in October pushed it further with unpredictable sequences of sound. The same muscle held a steady tension, as if bracing to track something that might move. The researchers make a careful point. This probably does not improve your hearing at all. To see what has been lost, look at an animal that still has it working. A cat has around 32 muscles in each ear. You have 3 that could swing the whole ear. 32 in one ear. It can swivel each one roughly 180 degrees, and the 2 move independently. One ear tracks you across the room, while the other stays fixed on a sound in the wall. It does this without turning its head, without standing up, without giving away that it noticed. That last part matters more than it sounds. A moving ear is silent, a turning head is not. It shifts weight, rustles, and can be seen. For a small animal being hunted, the difference between those two is the whole game. Our ancestors had that. Somewhere along the line, they stopped paying for it. So why give up a system that good? The honest answer is that nobody can point to a single fossil and say, "Here, this is where it went." Muscles do not fossilize, and neither does the wiring that drives them. But there are three changes that stack up, and they all point the same way. The first is the neck. Primates ended up with unusually flexible necks and unusually good eyes. If you can whip your head around and immediately see the thing, aiming an ear buys you little. The second is standing upright. It lifted the whole head clear of the grass. A head held high hears in every direction at once, without pointing at anything. The third is what happens once you live in a group that talks. A face that broadcasts where your attention is becomes useful rather than dangerous. Turning to look at someone is a signal. Silently swiveling an ear at them is not. None of these three is proven. Put together, they describe a system that stopped earning its keep. And evolution does not remove things because they are useless. It removes them when they cost something. Muscle costs. Nerve costs. The ear kept its shape, which is cheap, and lost its motors, which are not. Which leaves one last piece of evidence, and it is the strangest of them. Make a sudden loud noise behind someone, and the muscle behind their ear twitches. It happens in less than a 50th of a second, faster than any decision you could make. Researchers have a name for it and have been measuring it for decades. It is called the post-auricular reflex, and it is one of the fastest reflexes in the body. In a cat, that same twitch is the first frame of the ear swinging round to face the threat. In you, it is the whole event. The reflex fires, and then it is over. The movement is so small it has to be picked up with electrodes on the skin. Nobody around you sees anything. You feel nothing. But it is the same reflex, in the same muscle, on the same schedule. The startle has been kept perfectly. Only the part that mattered was dropped. And there is one more thing left over, which some people can still do on purpose. A minority of people can wiggle their ears voluntarily. Perhaps you are one of them. Try it now. If nothing moves, try pulling your eyebrows as high as they will go. Some people find the ears shift slightly when they do, because the wiring runs together. It is not a talent, and it is not a trick. It is access. Whatever is left of a system that once turned a pointed ear toward danger. Everyone has the muscles. Everyone has the nerve. Most people have simply lost the handle. So here is where all of this leaves you. There is a bump on your ear where a point used to be. There are 3 muscles behind it that have not moved anything in millions of years. And every time a room gets loud and you lean in to catch a word, they pull anyway. Your body has never been told that the ear stopped turning. It is still sending the order, several times a day, to a part that resigned before we were human.